It's 20 minutes gone past 5, and you are tuned into Personal Finance, where we get to discuss everything about your finance, how you can manage your money and better, well, see how things can work. And today is not going to be any different because on Personal Finance today, we'll be talking about inflation, how it is rising. We'll talk about salaries, which are fixed. But we'll also talk about how we can manage our incomes from all these salaries and our side hustles and see how it can be beneficial for us. And my guest this evening is in the person of Daniel Effah, and he is the head of business development at Puprime Africa. So good to have you here, and great to, be speaking on the situation regarding salaries, trying to manage everything and all that.
Thank you very much for having me. It's nice to be here.
Right. All right, Lagos, you as well can chime in, share your thoughts as well on how you've been managing things and if it will, what your outlook basically is going to be looking like. And I know that my guests will be sharing more insights on how we can manage our incomes and see how it will be useful for us, especially seeing how it is to try and get certain things right now. It's too expensive. You're now like trying to always calculate before you go to the store. You're like, is this even worth buying? So those are the kind of things we'll be, focusing on and seeing how we can make headway as we journey along. All right. So, but basically, I want to know, first off, really, how do you suggest that one can currently manage their expenses with the prices that are going up? You see that fluctuation every time. Today is at a certain price, tomorrow is a different thing, and and your salary is just there. It's fixed. There's no increase. Probably if even if there was, it's not as you expect, but everything is just going up. How 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 do we make sense of this?
Um, I, I think first things first, people need to understand where we are. Basically, where we are is a period of high inflation. High
Okay.
inflation means that your earnings will remain the same, but your spendings will become higher, be on majorly on essentials.
Mm,
If what we are spending on is basically on other things, nobody would be complaining. But food, you get energy, whether it is your generator, whether it is your fuel, whether it is your cost of transportation, they are going
correct.
very, very high. And
I
it's
know,
important
right?
that you see this, you see it, and be able to come back to yourself and say, how do I survive? How
Right.
do I keep surviving at this period? Of course, there are so many factors to which we will still discuss, but I think
Mm,
first things first is to first evaluate what takes your money.
okay.
Evaluate the major cost centers of your money. Again, for a person like me, for example, I'm not the most extroverted kind of person. So what takes my
Okay.
money will be the subscriptions, will be the extra that makes me comfortable in my house, right? So I'm
Okay.
looking at that, I'm like, okay, you for this month, I don't think I need you. Again, I don't think I need you because it has to now function, it has to now be a function of what I need, right?
Versus what you
Versus what
want.
exactly. So I begin to now eliminate those things, right?
Needs and
Then you
want.
now move to what you eat again, because
See that food one, eh? That's a good.
so now the funny thing about what we eat is that
Right.
what we eat is in two parts: what we really eat and what we just eat, right? So
Mm,
what we just eat is what we now need to
okay.
focus on. Right? Okay, do I need to take that extra Pringles? Do I need to take that extra cookies? Do I need to take those things have to let go, because if you look at the prices of those products and the cost, and you calculate how much you are spending on them on a monthly basis, you realize that you are spending way more than even the real food you eat. So for us, it's time for us to sit back, you get, and
And
evaluate.
calculate.
Yeah,
Mm.
exactly, properly evaluate, because nobody's coming to help us.
You see that word that you just put there? No one's
Yeah,
coming to help you. So you better
actually,
help yourself. Figure out what
actually.
it is consuming
Mm-hmm,
all the funds in your pocket
mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
start to plan. But talking about planning, really, how can one even plan for the unexpected price hikes? We didn't expect that fuel will go to where it is right now. neither did we expect that to be buying yam like it is gold. So how then do you now plan for these things? You already know what your salary is, and you're already making plans toward that. You're now saying that you now go to the market the next day, and it is
Hmm.
like you can't even buy anything.
I understand that perfectly because I for one, it happened like twice with me, and I was like, oh, this was what I projected for the month, and I'm getting report that it will require another 1.5, sorry, 150% of that same amount to buy the same thing I would usually consume. And
Right.
uh, first things first, what he did was I sat down and said, okay, I think I need to now redefine the way I eat. See,
Oh my goodness.
I talk about macroeconomic issues a lot, right? And
Okay.
right now, over 100 million Nigerians are poor, right?
Yes, I agree with you
Yeah,
on that one.
so that means that some people might be listening to me right now and they are not even earning up to 50,000. Some people are listening to them, they're earning 50,000. And you are like, how are these people surviving? I sincerely, if you're listening to me and getting 50,000, you are the heroes of this country at the moment because I don't know
I
how you are.
salute your courage.
I don't know how you're doing because we all go to the same market, we all buy the same things, right? And
Mm.
and and I live in an area where at the back of the estate, you see a lot of all these Fulanis that plant and subsistence farming.
Oh,
They
okay.
eat what they
Yes.
plant, they eat and all those ones. You realize that
Right.
they tend to live better because subsistence farming is what they practically eat what they grow, right? That is why they tell you even in the villages right now, people in the
Mm.
villages are not as poor as people in the cities and
Hmm.
and and you're in Lagos right now, and Lagos, I can tell you, people that are poor in Lagos are more than people that are poor in villages in Osun State or Ekiti State. That is how bad it is. So for us
Okay.
in the urban area, it is
Hmm.
important that you would have to do some trade-offs. Have to do some trade-offs in the sense that eggs is almost impossible to eat right now because it's almost 10,000 naira per crate. I can't imagine in my lifetime buying eggs at that price, but
I,
that
I
is
I
but that
never
is
thought
where
we'll
we
get to this point.
yeah, but that is where we are, and I think that
Right.
um, there is a correlation between people not eating LD, right, and the economic situation of a particular country, and that is where we are at the moment. So if it is to find if it's to ensure that you eat is at least one good meal a day, at least one very good meal a day. The others can be as it comes, but at least one very good meal a day. If whatever you are earning is not as what as able to drive you. You don't want to be incurring more debt. Debt is even expensive to incur. So what you need to do is just to, if it is just once you eat one quality food. Don't if you eat non-quality food, you get sick. If you get sick, you have to pay bills. If you pay bills, where's the money coming from? If you pay bills and you need to go to work, you might lose your job. So nobody wants to do that at the moment. What you need is just to ensure that at least you are able to survive a one quality meal. Every other one you can find a way around it. You get
That's just scary.
yeah, it is scary, but that is where we are. If you are able to eat three before, now try to eat two quality meals and try and find something around it, right? Some people live in some areas that it might make more sense for them to buy than to cook. There are some
Mhm.
areas like that that you have to. For example,
When you buy certain
yeah,
meals,
so
it's
just
cheaper than when
identify
it's first.
exactly. There are some places you have to because of the whole ingredients involved, even to if it is gas to cook. You get so many factors. So at this point in time, this is a practical conversation that we're having, and
Indeed, it
it's
is
best
practical.
yeah, so it's best not to be. I can't say I want to try and eat. You can't eat these square meals if you don't have capacity to. I saw a report from the MBS that an average Nigerian for you to be able to eat LD anywhere you are in Nigeria, you need at least $1,500. Sorry, naira. Now, if you calculate that for someone that is earning 50,000, he doesn't even have anything left.
So
So
sorry, but my question
yes,
is, wait, the
yes,
1.5, is it
yes,
for what exactly is it for? Is
a
it
meal, just a meal.
in
That's
a
that's 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 an average quality meal in
okay.
Nigeria.
Hmm.
So you see why I'm emphasizing the fact that try and ensure that you're able to eat just at
Ye-
least one quality meal. You need one quality meal. Now, because of course we'll still talk about more on finances as the question as we go on in the session. But based on what you asked me, like
Yes.
how do you do? I think that is key. You get to be
Lagos.
able to keep pushing on.
Well, we're in it for the long haul, but I definitely want to know what your thoughts are this evening on personal finance. How are you managing with your income? What are the things you've had to cut out? Most especially when it comes to your commuting, which we will get into because some people say they've just drop their cars at home. Now they, either carpool or the find other means to commute. But we'll get into all that and more after this quick breather. But best be sure, and my guest is here, and he will be sharing some updates and how he's also managing with things in this beautiful economy that we're having right now, and how the income will also make headway if you are in it. Don't know where Lagos stating to smooth 98.1.
Who's the man in this picture? People call him a farmer. What are that?
Let's not just get hungry. I'll get to the point where it will get
That's just
crazy
it.
that you will see a different side of humans because
Yeah,
as
yeah.
much as we want to make light of this thing, it's really not adding up.
See,
It's
I
really
have
not adding up.
in my estate, I have some guys that I would usually security guys. I would usually just give them money occasionally, and I realized that the way these guys would hail me when I give them 1,000 naira, I
A
get
thousand
scared.
naira
Like,
doesn't add up to anything again.
as in the joy, because obviously maybe it's going to solve a problem that I don't know of. So anytime I pass around and I just give them like, oh God, see see, so you give someone money and you just like, oh, the person, but these ones they're like, 10, as in. So one of those is I was asking of the guys, and he says it doesn't end up to 30,000. It's 25K. He works for 2 weeks.
What?
Yeah, people earn that low, particularly private. Yeah, people earn that low.
I don't I don't even know what to say. But you know what?
People earn
Let's
that
get
low.
back into the conversation. At 25,000 naira,
Yeah,
what do you
people
want to
earn
use
that
it
low.
for?
Ah,
All right, 32 minutes going past 5 on Personal Finance and Smooth 98.1. I have my guest with me in the person of Daniel Effah. He is the head business development at Puprime Africa, and he is been shedding light on how we can actually manage things, especially with inflation that's rising and seeing that the salaries some don't even take you anywhere. Because I was going to, there's usually the assumption that your salaries will take you home. Now, it's not even going anywhere. And you have those fixed salaries. How are you managing with your income in this present economy? Come through, share your thoughts with me. WhatsApp is the platform you can actually share your thoughts. 0809 4440981. And we're on YouTube as well. That is youtube.com/smooth 981 FM Lagos. And you can catch me and my guest as we're having this conversation and certain things that we have actually said behind the scenes. But hey, that's where you would actually catch us there. But let's get back into the conversation. And this time, let's even talk about. I know we've spoken about how it is trying to get food and manage things, but with commuting, we've seen how much fuel price is right now. I'm just curious, has that made any impact on your commuting? Have you changed how you go about, or have you decided, you know what, I'm just gonna, you know, face it head on, whether or weathering, which isn't English, by the way. I'm just even if you don't have the funds, where however it is, you need to get to where you need to get to, especially those
yeah.
who have to get to work.
Mm,
I know I heard someone who said, some few days back, maybe like last 2 months, getting to work was 8,000 naira or 1.5. That's to and fro. But now he's
mm,
having to pay 3.5
mm,
to go to 2,005 to get to work
mm,
because of the rise in fuel prices. So if that person, I don't know how much that person is earning, and he's having to pay just one way, he's having to pay 2,500. How much is he going to have to pay for the week, then the month, and he has to be at work Monday through Friday, or sometimes Saturday as well.
It's a two-way conversation. If you are a business owner and
Right.
you had to go to your place of business, then you don't have a problem because you would always push the cost to the consumers, right? But
Right.
if you are an employee, then there is no way uh, your organization should not step in at this point. Because, for example, at my own office,
Mm,
we had two options. We had two options: either people stay at home and work from home, or
mm-hmm.
we create a transport allowance that augments whatever they spend on transport. Right. We took the second
Right.
option because we felt okay, people would not be effective at
At
home, right?
home.
If they're working from home. So I think that we, as business people, as business owners
Yes.
who have employees, it's
Mm-hmm.
important we look at that conversation you get and ensure that people are able to still survive. Of course, you're not going to be paying their transport, but if you have access to probably maybe maybe your employees come from a certain similar area, you get, for example, maybe they're coming from the
Right.
mainland as offices in Ireland, get them the boss on arrangement that can get them
Mm,
into the office together. They can contribute, you get, then subsidize so that people can be able to go to their place of work. Because either way, if you allow them spend so much money on transport, you're going to
mm.
be the one to suffer the ineffectiveness of that employee. But that employee will not get to
Right.
work and be motivated. If an employee has not eaten, nobody will work effectively. So it is your job as the business owner now to begin to look at that as a conversation and not be ruthless, yeah, and saying, yeah, economy is also affecting me too. Yes, it's affecting you too, but you still need your quality staff, you get, to be able to deliver good job for you in an economy that is ailing, basically. So that is what my advice would be. For me personally, I think that till now I still have a shock when I get to the field because I've had a shock for the past 18 months or I was 14 months.
Is it? Okay.
But for in fact, the first time, I think the first time when the president came in and the announcement was made, I deliberately did not buy fuel for a week or two just to come to the reality of the new price. It happened again 600 to 800. I paused again. Okay,
Okay.
I think there was a scarcity at that period. So what I did was that I bought a lot. I bought a lot, bought extra
And so
keg.
you were those among those who were bulk buying.
I had to.
Panic
That is
buying is the word,
panic
not
buying.
even
It
bulk
wasn't
buying.
panic because at the end of the day, it came out that the price actually increased. So it wasn't panic. It was just an forecasting. That's what you call it. You
Okay.
get. So
I
I
will
just
leave
bought.
you with that.
Yeah, so I bought
Okay.
and at least for like 2 3 weeks, I allowed people buy. Let me see the effect of what it will be in the market.
Right.
And now I've seen 1,000, over 1,000, and I'm like, well, this is where we are. You get, this is just where we are. So the only thing I've just reduced is that I've reduced the number of places I go. If I can do a Zoom call with you, I will take a Zoom call option or a Google Meet option every day, all day, every day, over having to meet you physically or to sit out or to do this. So that's the only thing that's changed, right? And now more than ever before, for car owners, go and look for your catalytic converter and put it in your car to reduce your fuel consumption.
Oh,
If
right.
you can convert if you can convert to CNG, try convert to CNG and reduce your expenses on fuel. And if you realize that you can't do both at the moment, move to the road, take a taxi as every other person, and go to your location
But you know that tax is expensive, right?
yes, but it is not as expensive for a car owner right now, particularly because of maintenance. You are not factoring maintenance to
Okay.
your conversation. Yeah,
Mm,
because for example, for me right now,
mm,
maybe a year ago to maintain my kind of car, you're looking at maybe 25,000. Right now, it's up to 50,000. Right. So, if I'm not earning as you get based on my
right.
calculations, I
Right.
would just park it somewhere to reduce the number of times I have to maintain because maintenance
Hmm.
and maintenance can be a normal preventive maintenance or something happens and you're correcting, right? So those are things you can't factor in as long as you're using a car, right? Our roads
Right.
are not the best of roads, that you can say yes, no matter nothing will happen to my car, no matter what happens. But you
You
might be
can
on the
say
road and
that
something
again.
happens, and you are going to spend a whole lot in maintaining or in making sure that car works. So, and if you have more than one, I think it's a bit time to also look at letting go of one. It
Okay.
is not. It is not. It doesn't make you less poorer. It just makes you adapting. One of the key things we need to do in times like this is to adapt. You get you when you complain to certain extent to government and they are not doing anything, you adapt. Yeah, because as humans we need to survive. So those are the kind of strategies we need to get for different cadres of society. You need to look at the way. For example, in Lagos, there is a mass bus transit program. You shouldn't be looking for those those ones, those ones on the road. If you can wait for those ones, wait for them and get the price. So if it is to come there earlier, you get before
Right.
and get there early, and it's to wait till everybody has gone home to you can get it. Wait.
At a
At this
cheaper
point, you need to,
rate.
exactly just has to be you just have to find it. If it is trains that will be cheaper, use trains and be safe using them. That is just the way we have to.
That
We
you can
have to
actually
at
mitigate
times require
and
strict measures exactly. And if your
I get
children
that.
are wherever they go to for
If
school
they're
is
in
what
expensive
gets you cost,
schools,
bring
maybe it's
them
time to.
closer.
But you know, with education, right, it's actually
Yes.
better to just you're investing. So
Yeah.
that's another thing. It's not like,
That is a
well,
very that is a very, very sensitive question that sorry,
right,
sensitive conversation that some people might be listening like, why would I do that? But
right.
I think that education is a very, very sensitive conversation, right?
Hmm.
I had a very senior friend then before he traveled, and whenever it's time to pay school fees, he's
Oh
always
my
looking for
days.
money. He had
That
four
it's not
kids
a
and
fun
he's always
situation to
looking for
be
money.
in.
And
Right.
and one of those I was like, why are you not doing somewhere lower? He was like, no, this is the standard. I'm like, standard is based on your money. Standard is simply based on your money. While I was growing up, we were not too rich, we're not too poor, but I was the only one that went to a public school and I enjoyed it, right? Because at the end of the day, what they did for me instead was that the cost was reduced. So they got me a lesson teacher that could
Okay.
augment, yeah, to make sure that my education is top notch and
That
I
you
can
were
compete. So we would have to get, if you are making more money, no problem. But if you are not,
right.
you shouldn't you shouldn't strain yourself too much, and you grow older when all you think about is money. You grow
Mm.
older when you are looking at what's happening next, what is happening it creates health issues even, and it's important that we reduce that. Just live within whatever that budget is. You get, if it
Within
requires
your
everybody
own budget.
trimming down, just trim it down and keep surviving.
Okay, I have Ian here. Ian says, okay, first thing he says is that report is still because you said 1,005 to try and,
Mm, mm,
manage
mm,
to eat
mm,
a
mm,
meal. Well, he says
mm.
in his own viewpoint, they cannot even get a good meal in Nigeria presently. Then, regarding what I know you
Okay,
said something regarding
okay,
that. Anyways,
okay.
he says his own plan is plan A
Huh.
is to jackpot. Plan B is to buy a
Okay,
bicycle. Ian, I hear you, but
okay.
we stay
So,
here
so
together and we
Ian,
work things out.
yeah, so Ian, the report from the MBS is an average report.
Right.
It is factoring the entire country. You get, remember that Lagos, Abuja, even part of Abuja, you can get a good meal for 1,500.
Okay.
They are factoring Lagos,
All
Abuja,
those
Port
in.
Harcourt, the entire state. So some places in,
Mm,
in, in Nigeria that actually are cheaper. You get to actually eat or buy food.
I agree with you.
So that's what they are factoring. So that is the average they are using. Of course, some places is way higher, way higher. Yeah.
Okay. So yes, I know when you're having great conversations like this, especially talking about finance and how you're trying to save things, I just basically want to know, right, what's the most effective financial tip or habits that you've learned during this period that you think our listeners can actually take home and work with?
Okay, so I think that one of the most for me,
Hmm.
I'm a liberal in terms of my financial approach.
Okay.
So I my one of the most important tip that people usually, that I have basically taken very important is making more money, right?
Okay.
When the chips are down in an economy like this, you try to make more money. You get, no matter how,
Mm.
there's a certain level you get to where you can't do some certain things anymore, right? There's some certain kind of things, food I can't eat, some kind of things I can't take because
Okay.
I've passed that level in life, right? So what I realized is that when you get to that point where you just try to do is how to make more money,
Okay.
how to make more money. So finances is two aspects: how to manage the revenue that comes in and how to
Mm-hmm.
spend it. Right? In managing the revenue, you need to also focus on how to make more of that revenue so that
Mm.
it will be easier when you're deciding or making decisions or choices on what to spend, on how to
Okay.
spend. So that is my own biggest. So right now, if you're not saying once you jackpot, it knows that of course if you jackpot, you're not going to do a job. You're not going to be doing one job. You're probably going to do two. Why?
Multiple
Because that's
jobs.
the same notion. Exactly. That is the same notion that you need to make way more because the bills are just there. So,
The
but when
bills
we
are
get
always
to Nigeria,
constant.
exactly, when we get to Nigeria, we realize that people just are comfortable with one. Why? Why can't you also look for ways to get? So, if it is skills you
Multiple
need,
streams of income.
exactly, if it is skills you need to do
Improve on the
more, then
skills.
yeah, just this is the time to step into fields
Learn.
that you know that will be solutions in the future. Just keep adding more, adding more, adding more. So, for example,
Right.
on a normal day, you see me, I'm a business manager for a broker. On
Right.
weekends, you see me as a researcher. Yeah, and on other
Okay.
weekends, you see me as a business advisor. You see me as an investment professional. So either way, I'm not
Diversify
boxed
your
up.
skills and make it
Exactly,
productive
exactly,
for you. Hmm.
exactly.
I like that. I like that. So, how can Lagos reach out to you if they need more advice on things they can actually do? So, I need your social media handle so they can, connect
Okay.
with you.
On Twitter, Effah EWFAH underscore 2010. That's EWFAH. At on
Okay.
X, that's formerly Twitter. X,
Mhm.
that's EWFAH underscore 2010. That's my
All
handle
right.
on Twitter or X. Instagram is just Daniel.Effah EWFAH basically.
All right. Thank you so much for all that,
Thank you.
financial insights that you shared this evening. And I'm sure that Lagos will be grateful for it. As
Thank
always, it's great to, have your thoughts heard and, always getting more insight on how we can actually just manage during these times.